YouTube says it has had enough of vaccine misinformation on its site.
And false stories from phony sites to run circles around major news outlets.
Many people don't know the difference between something real and something created to deceive them.
Open your eyes.
If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Lady Gaga hosted Saturday Night Live, and of course, Lady Gaga didn't disappoint when it comes to promoting what Lady Gaga really is, which is a satanic witch in Hollywood who has obviously risen to fame through music, through movies, through what they call art. But the real reason Lady Gaga has risen to fame, like everybody else in Hollywood, is because of sacrifice. So it shouldn't surprise anybody when they do a mock ritual on Saturday Night Live to make people out there think that what they're seeing is something that they should be laughing at, something that doesn't actually exist in the real world. But the reality of the matter is that it does. And there's probably nobody more so in Hollywood who I've exposed over the years who has put this stuff out in the open more so than Lady Gaga. And this is not an expression of art. This is an expression of witchcraft. Now, this is a common theme that we see. They use comedians or they use people or shows like Saturday Night Live, which are supposed to be funny, which the majority of people do not find funny, especially in the year 2025. And they joke about the truth in plain sight. This is a form of mind control to desensitize people. You might remember that skit that Will Ferrell did a few years back, which of course you could find on my website, which has been scrubbed off of YouTube, where Will Ferrell did about a 25-minute ritual sacrifice on some comedy show that nobody had ever heard of, even invoking Satan himself. And of course, the connection here is that Will Ferrell is another famous comedian who's famous because he's in the same club as Lady Gaga. Here's a picture of Will Ferrell at an event honoring Marina Abramovich, where you could see the decapitated heads on the table, because the theme, of course, was cannibalism, right? And here's Lady Gaga hanging out with Marina Abramovich, taking a bite out of the old bloodbath, right? Because, of course, Marina Abramovich, these Hollywood celebrities, the connection is that they're all Satanists. Marina Abramovich is one of the highest ranking witches out there, and of course is on record as saying the magician that they need right now is Donald Trump, referencing him as a magician as well. So Marina Abramovich is obviously best known for spirit cooking as well, and that's what you're about to see in this skit from Saturday Night Live that I'm going to play for you. And keep in mind that people out there will defend Lady Gaga and say people like me are just stretching, it's a comedy show, because they don't understand how mind control actually works, right? And I'm sure it's a coincidence that she does this skit about human sacrifice on Saturday Night Live while also performing the song Abracadabra, which has to do with witchcraft, right? I'm sure it's also a coincidence that on the record we've heard Lady Gaga in the past say, "I swear to Lucifer."
Sometimes they don't want to, and they're, Gaga, we can't get, the frequency's weird, and, it's sounding a little bit strange. And I'm like, if you don't get this right now, I swear to Lucifer, I'm gonna, I get a little bit mad. I swear to Lucifer.
Right, but she's not, or he's not, an actual Satanist. This is all in the name of art. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a skit that aired on a comedy show, Saturday Night Live, where I can guarantee you that 99.9% of the population who saw this, whether they're awake or asleep, did not laugh and did not know what they were actually witnessing. But what this really was is just another way for them to show you the truth in plain sight and then desensitize the sheeple out there into thinking stuff like this doesn't really happen in the real world. But Lady Gaga's very well versed in what you're about to see. Take a look.
I haven't been to a Friendly's since I was a kid. And it sounds like it's someone's birthday. Remember how they always do the birthday song?
Friendly's has a birthday song.
Friendly's has a birthday song.
Happy birthday to you. I told them it was your birthday so we get the song of the free Sunday.
We understand that somebody has a birthday at this table.
Swear to all the gods in all the heavens that this day indeed your true birthday.
Fine, I swear.
Very well. Your path is fixed. Kalima! Kalima!
He took my heart.
We will eat the rest of your friend, but her heart
Is on the house.
Put a little ice cream cone hat on Ginny's heart. They are friendly.
So that airs on a comedy show. I mean, it reminded me of almost the Gothard Tunnel ritual at some point, where you have the demon that comes out that they called Lamashtu, which I'll get into in a few minutes. But let's look at some of the symbols that were in that skit that we all know about, that I've exposed many times over, right? We saw the red balloons. The red balloons, of course, referencing sacrifice, and of course, the prince of the power of the air. That's why you see the red balloons involved in films. That's really the theme of the film, is sacrificing children. Movies like It. You'll also see the red balloons, of course, in a lot of photo shoots, like Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's child, Northwest, carrying around the red balloon. Of course, you see those tile floors over there as well. That's not a coincidence either, that they chose to put the red and white checkerboard floor. The red and white checkerboard floor represents ritual sacrifice. You'll often see this as well in a lot of music videos surrounding the artist who recently has some type of a connection to somebody who died, whether it was gang-related violence or a family member who had some unbelievable tragedy. They'll usually show you a red and white checkerboard floor to let you know that a ritual sacrifice occurred. So we have these two themes right off the bat where they, before we get into the entire ritual, where they're telling us about ritual sacrifice. These are two of the symbol codes that they use quite often, right? And we know, of course, they use the black and white checkerboard floor as well very often. And they also, while they were invoking the spirit, while they were bringing about the satanic ritual, you saw one of the characters doing what with his hands? Making the triangle of power with his hands, right? This is another thing that we often see, the pyramid, right? He wasn't doing this coincidentally. This is scripted and staged out. So, of course, you got all the things that you would normally see that will make people out there desensitized to this stuff, right? You see demons coming out, wearing the upside down pentagram. Of course, nobody thinks anything of the 5-pointed star that you see in so many logos, from Starbucks to the Dallas Cowboys. You see, of course, a serpent. They come out carrying a snake for the ritual as well. Kind of reminded me of the video that I did on Angelina Jolie talking about the satanic parties that she had gone to, which again, that video is also available on the website, that involved the drinking of a snake's blood. And then, of course, we actually got the drinking of human blood, right? And Lady Gaga smearing the blood all over the character's face and telling the character to drink of the blood, right? Remember, this is supposed to be comedy, folks. They lied about their age at Friendly's, and suddenly a satanic ritual is done, and Lady Gaga, who is known as being one of the highest-ranking witches in all of Hollywood, who is also performing abracadabra a few minutes later on the show, which is just a word that we all associate with magic. Now, this is all coincidental, right? Then, of course, they have one of the characters come out with the horns on his head, right? Doing what? Removing of the heart, the cannibalism theme that we constantly see, right? And then Lady Gaga puts the heart in a sundae. Apparently, this is supposed to be funny to some of the sheeple, and she says, "Eat the heart. It's a heart sundae. Ha ha." They cue the laugh box, and some of the sheeple laugh, but even in attendance for this, it didn't sound like too many people were laughing. It sounded like a lot of them were confused and creeped out. And of course, we all know about the heart as well, and the meaning of the heart in the occult. A lot of their ritual sacrifices revolve around devouring and the eating of a heart. A lot of movies and a lot of television series depict this when they perform satanic rituals, from American Horror Story to other horror films, where they commit these acts and then they take the heart out of the human being and consume the heart, because these Satanists are cannibals, right? And of course, you remember I was talking about recently about the heart symbol itself, which is a symbol for Baal, the heart symbol that you see where people are holding up their hands in the symbol of a heart. The word for heart in the Babylonian language was Baal. And of course, Lady Gaga is one of those celebrities who's always going around talking about love and tolerance and holding up the heart symbol wherever Lady Gaga performed. So the other thing you heard in that awful clip was the mentioning of Lamashtu, which might be something that's new to people. Lamashtu, right? We hear about Baphomet all the time and some of these other demons. You even heard mention of Pazuzu, which Pazuzu's best known for anyone out there that doesn't remember, the demon in The Exorcist, Pazuzu. But I just want to read to you about Lamashtu for anybody out there that isn't familiar what Lamashtu is known for. Lamashtu's father was the sky god Anu, unlike many other usual demonic figures and depictions in Mesopotamian lore. Lamashtu was said to act in malevolence of her own accord rather than at the god's instruction. So it's a female deity. She bore 7 names and was described as 7 witches in incantations. Her evil deeds included, but were not limited to, slaying children, unborns, and neonates, causing harm to mothers and expectant mothers, eating men and drinking their blood, disturbing sleep, bringing nightmares, killing foliage, infesting rivers and lakes, and being a bringer of disease, sickness, and death. So for anybody out there, because you know the common person who sees this and they hear Lamashtu, they think that they were just in the back at Saturday Night Live and just came up with a random name like it was gibberish, like there's nothing behind the name Lamashtu, right? And of course, then you start connecting the dots with human sacrifice, the slaying of children, unborns, right? And then you realize, well, a lot of these celebrities are very much into Planned Parenthood. A lot of these celebrities like Lady Gaga. And of course, being connected to Planned Parenthood should remind people who one of the founding fathers of Planned Parenthood is and was, and most people don't know either. And that, of course, is Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates' father was on the board for Planned Parenthood. What a coincidence that him and Lady Gaga recently were tied up in a Netflix series where they talked about misinformation and disinformation because they don't want to be exposed as the satanic demons that they actually are and who they actually worship. Because in other parts in human history, in other time periods where these people were exposed, they were stopped from continuing with what they were actually doing because the people rose up against it. So misinformation is something they're hell-bent on stopping. And let's not forget, while Lady Gaga was with Bill Gates, of course, she released a song called Disease, which I did a video on, which has been removed, of course. And in that video, it was about Lady Gaga getting a disease and becoming demonically possessed. And we saw that black goo liquid being poured out right onto Lady Gaga. And as the black liquid consumes Lady Gaga turns into a demon. And that has everything, of course, to do with what's happening in the world today. The black goo represents the transformation, the nanotechnology that is being put inside of people's bodies, and people don't even realize that they're willingly doing it by following people like Lady Gaga and Bill Gates, huh? See how there's a connection between these people where you'd say Lady Gaga, a musician, Bill Gates, the founder of Microsoft. What is the connection between them? Well, the connection is that these are Satanists who are spellcasting on you. And to finish up on Lamashtu, it's important to note that Baphomet was a favored consort of Lamashtu and claim he was created by her as the first minotaur to lead her creations in the mortal world. Such legends claim that Baphomet was born on Libidos, the result of one of Lamashtu's vile acts. In life, he fathered numerous minotaurs and led his people to secret places across Golarion. And of course, that all sounds like gibberish, but we all know how they worship the Baphomet. And for anybody out there at this point, if you're still listening and you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know, is Lady Gaga really a Satanist? I mean, she only said, I swear to Lucifer. She's only hanging out with Marina Abramovich, who's best known for spirit cooking and those emails you're not allowed to discuss. And, you know, doing ritual after ritual after ritual that we're supposed to believe isn't really a ritual. Singing abracadabra on Saturday Night Live. I mean, if you haven't seen enough yet, don't forget the story of Lady Gaga back in 2012, which I have also covered in the past, where Lady Gaga was at a hotel suite. And when the maid came into the room, the housekeeper found the bathtub to be filled with blood. That's right, Lady Gaga left large amounts of blood in a hotel suite bath. The singer reportedly left a tub filled with a red substance believed to be blood after staying at the Intercontinental Hotel in London. One housekeeper at the upmarket hotel claimed the singer was bathing in blood as part of a ritual. The hotel worker revealed the odd find to Truthquake, and this has been covered by various media outlets, and of course nobody takes it serious, right? They say Lady Gaga left large amounts of blood in the suite during a stay in the summer. The incident was reported to the concierge, who was told to put it out of her mind, she explained to the website. Well, of course, put it out of your mind. You walk in as a maid in a hotel room, you're just hoping you could keep your job after seeing Lady Gaga bathing in a bathtub filled with blood, and then you go and you tell the concierge, you tell the owner of the hotel, who's likely a Hilton or somebody else who's doing the same exact things, and they say, hey, forget you ever saw it, right? And then when people see stories like this, they just go, oh, that's just another coincidence too. Lady Gaga's an artist, right? That gives her free pass, right? Now, if you walked in on your neighbor and they were taking a bath in blood, I would have to guess that you called 911. I would pretty much assume that you didn't want to be an accomplice to murder or something else, and you'd also be freaked out seeing your neighbor bathing in blood. But when it comes to Lady Gaga, or even the celebrities who do it in their music videos, Eminem, Machine Gun Kelly, they all seem obsessed with taking a bath in blood. And of course, that is the real blood baptism that they take. You may have heard in that clip mentioning of being born again, right? Because they're born again in Satanism, and that's part of the ritual, the drinking of the blood and the consuming of the human heart. So Lady Gaga, again, over the years, the most common symbols we see, probably performed more so by Gaga than anyone else. The constant all-seeing eye symbolism, the 666 symbolism. You could go for days, seriously, and find images of Lady Gaga doing something satanic, whether it's Lady Gaga's face pulling out of its sides looking like a reptilian, or just wearing Baphomet horns everywhere it goes, or doing the as above, so below, or just wearing weird looking hats that people would say, well, this is just some artistic expression that she's doing, right? Where the hat, of course, has the black and white esoteric Masonic checkerboard on it, or Lady Gaga wearing lightning bolts on her face like David Bowie, and then everyone goes, oh, it's just David Bowie. And of course, the lightning bolt represents Lucifer's fall in Luke chapter 10, verse 18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, which is why you constantly see musicians using the lightning bolt, from Marilyn Manson to Kiss to AC/DC. It's not because their favorite pastime is watching thunderstorms. It's not some common obsession that they have with lightning bolts because they love the Weather Channel and Jim Cantor, okay? Lightning represents Satan. And that's why so many of these celebrities reenact that image of David Bowie with the lightning bolt on his or her face. So this is what we're seeing going on around us, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, they can go out on these shows, they can perform these rituals. Of course, the show is Saturday Night Live, even though it hasn't been funny in quite some time, a really long time, if ever, really. I mean, you can look back and say, okay, there was some stuff that was pretty funny, but now it's absolutely just unbearable. It only stays on the air because they need it for social engineering purposes, because certainly the ratings aren't keeping it on the air at this point, right? But since it's Saturday Night Live, it's Lady Gaga, right? So we're supposed to say, it's artistic, it's creative. Who came up with the idea, I wonder? You think that the people in the back just came up with this idea? Obviously, Lady Gaga pitched this idea, and the symbolism involved with the red balloons and the red and white checkerboard floor, all there deliberately. Now, I've been to Friendlies in the past, and it's definitely not something that's at every single Friendlies. It's not like, hey, Friendlies is known for its red and white checkerboard floor. A lot of them just have regular floors. It's not some staple that if you get one of these branches of Friendlies, if you become an affiliate or whatever, you open up a Friendlies somewhere, it isn't a requirement to have a red and white checkerboard floor. So they deliberately, of course, had that along with the balloons. You saw the pyramid in the hands. And of course, look, the constant consumption of cannibalism and drinking of human blood that everybody out there thinks is a big joke. Even the summoning of real, actual demons, the mentioning of Pazuzu, Lamashtu, right? And Lamashtu, of course, like I mentioned, known for what? Oh, her evil deeds, including unborn, slaying children, causing harm to mothers and expectant mothers. Oh, and eating men and drinking their blood as well, right? This is all normal stuff for a comedy show. This is the truth in plain sight. This is how they get away with this stuff in plain sight, because they'll point a finger at someone like me and say that he's a crazy conspiracy theorist when you're pointing out all of the things, right? All of the things that you saw, not just from the skit, the bloodbath at the hotel, to Lady Gaga openly saying, I swear to Lucifer on national television, to the connection to Marina Abramovich and Spirit Cooking, the connection with all these satanic signs and symbols, right? They all put the hand up over their eye. Everybody out there thinks they're playing peekaboo. Every single celebrity you could find putting one hand up over their eye. Then you can find that one eye on the back of your dollar bill. And you see it all over the place. And you think it's a big joke, right? The all-seeing eye of Lucifer, who they actually worship. And they show you who they worship. Because while she's doing this, she's singing abracadabra. While she's doing this, she's talking about disease and buddying up with Bill Gates. Nobody thinks about the connection between Bill Gates and science and Lady Gaga, and then doing a song about a disease where she becomes demonically possessed, and you see that ferrofluid and graphene combined, right? Nanotechnology that made the black goo electric, right? And Lady Gaga becomes demon possessed. It's incredible. It's easy to see if you allow yourself to pay attention to it. Most people refuse to see it because they can't accept it. It's too hard to accept. But if you want to accept what they tell you, if you want to accept that people like me are crazy, then ask yourself, why is it that people like me have been removed 87 plus times for talking about stuff like this right here? Just music videos and Saturday Night Live skits, and pointing out their connection to how they act and behave in real life and the photographs that they take, and holding them accountable for the things that they actually say, which should make anybody out there say, oh yeah, she's definitely a witch. I mean, it's not just a Saturday Night Live skit, right? You got bloodbaths and hotels. I mean, there's a lot of connections there, right? Would we be able to find that about you if we had a whole, account of your life? I doubt it, right? It's not like this is like, oh, I'm looking for, oh, he's pulling things out of thin air just because of a skit. Yeah, taking bloodbaths, hanging out with Marina. The theme of the event with Marina Abramovich, cannibalism, right? The theme of the skit, cannibalism. I mean, it's all there for people to see. And this is why they censor truth channels like this for exposing this stuff, because it makes it very easy and simple to see for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. So there's Lady Gaga on Saturday Night Live. The truth in plain sight, as always. Just a matter of whether people will start believing it or not, or if they'll continue to allow themselves to stay asleep at the wheel, because most people would rather live their lives on autopilot than see the actual truth. And it's a shame. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you and your families as always.